Welcome back to the Slave New World. And I just saw these today, this news here in CNN, talking about the future of tourism. So that's obviously an industry that's been completely shut down, and now they're talking about how to reopen this a little bit. So it's kind of interesting how it ties into the so-called New World Order, which is the Brave New World, which is the Slave New World. I mean, it says right here, it's a model for the future. So is this the future of travel? A potential Australia and New Zealand travel bubble may end up being a model for the rest of the world. Right? So this is kind of how they do things. They implement these strategies in these kind of far-off places with relatively low population. They try it out, they get the system in place, and that's used as a model, a prototype for the rest of the world. It says it right there, okay? A model for the rest of the world. So what they're doing here in Australia and New Zealand is going to happen where you live also. Australia and New Zealand pledged to introduce travel corridor in rare coronavirus meeting. Now what's interesting is that this Mr. Ardern here joined the Australian government cabinet meeting. A foreign head of state actually joined the Australian internal government meeting, which again is just another kind of thing they do, right? They're basically telling you, hey, Australia and New Zealand have merged. The proposal, known formally as the Trans-Tasman COVID-Safe Travel Zone, all right, it's the Trans-Man COVID-Safe Travel Zone. They can travel without the need for a quarantine, right? If they're checked, right? If they're checked first. If they're checked and tested and tagged and bagged. Ardern was invited to join the Australian National Cabinet meeting. It was the first time a New Zealand leader had attended a meeting of Australia's National Cabinet or similar gathering since the Second World War. A Trans-Tasman COVID-Safe Travel Zone would be... Oh, there it is. There's the Trans-Tasman. Shaking hands. Hey, I thought we're not supposed to shake hands anymore. What's going on? The trans man is shaking hands. The Trans-Tasman travel may be coming soon. The Trans-Tasman will not be banned. As long as you're a trans man, you can go to Transmania, New Zealand, and Australia. You can only travel between countries if you're a trans man. Basically, that's what this says. Only trans people can travel, all right? That's probably what this really means. What would a Trans-Tasman? Now it's one word all of a sudden. It's merged into one word now. Alert level 3, all right? Now they introduced this, they got this 4 levels of alerts, and basically it's like Simon Says, you got to do this, you got to do that. They were at level 4. They've defeated the virus thanks to the cojones on Mr. Ardern. So please pay attention and obey. All right, they took away the guns there last year because of the mass media event. They use this place as it's like a laboratory, actually. It's a laboratory of social conditioning, unfortunately. So I guess maybe I'll never get to go there because, only Australians can go there now. Only if you're a Trans-Tasman, right? If you're not a Trans-Tasman, you can't go to New Zealand.
This morning, the two leaders say they are committed to introducing a Trans-Tasman COVID-safe travel zone as soon as it's safe to do so. Scott Morrison says a Trans-Tasman travel zone is still some time away, but he says the country is committed to introducing one.
How would a Trans-Tasman or Asia-Pacific economic bubble work? All right, so now it's not just a tourism thing, it's an economic bubble. So they're going to separate the world into bubbles, and people have been talking about this a long time. I'll show you some things. Now he's also looking kind of like a Trans-Tasman. It's not as obvious, but if you look at it closely, and that kind of reminds me of North Korea. Recently they talked about Kim Jong-un was dead or missing or something, and supposedly he came back, and then they put up pictures of his brother, or her brother, I should say. It's all very strange and confusing, and basically at that time I was thinking, you know what? Basically what this means, they're saying the whole world is North Korea now. We don't need North Korea anymore. We don't need Kim Jong-un anymore. Why? Because the whole world is the same now. It's the same thing as the rest of the world because we're all North Koreans now. So this is from some, it's called worldnomads.com. This is a travel website. People can go to North Korea. It's always been open for tourism, actually. You have to apply, and once you go there, it's very strict, but you can actually go there. I've never been there. You got to pay a bunch of money as well. So does this thing actually exist? What is this? And this will tie into something else. In fact, I'll show you this right now. Tomorrowland with the T, right? There's the Transman right there. The Transman Tomorrowland. It almost looks like that was photoshopped in there, but does this thing actually exist? I mean, that is very bizarre. But I guess it makes sense. If there wasn't a transdemic, you could go to North Korea. This is a country in which total obedience to the state is norm. Okay, now, we're all North Koreans now, so this applies to every country. All right, that's what I'm saying here. There is no dissension in North Korea, and travelers must abide by this or simply not travel there. That's one reason I've never been there, right? Too many rules. Doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun. So basically what's going on is they're going to open up international travel to only the neighboring countries, first of all, and they can only go to certain places in that country. There's going to be like a travel route that you have to stay on. You cannot get off the beaten path. It says right here, every movement is controlled, watched carefully, and planned by the government. That's what they're talking about right now. That's exactly the way tourism will work everywhere in the world. It will be controlled, watched, and carefully planned by the government. Tomorrowland, Disneyland, will open, but you'll be able to go there, but you won't be able to go outside of Disneyland. You won't be able to go anywhere else, and you'll be carefully monitored. Forget any notions of independent adventure or solo travel. Yeah, forget it. Forget it. It's over. It's done. All right, you'll fly, you'll be tested and checked. You get on the airplane, you'll get to your destination, you'll get like on a train, and then you'll go to the hotel on the beach, and that's your holiday right there. You cannot leave the hotel. You won't be able to see what's actually going on in that country. There'll be the illusion of freedom, all right? That's the best way to enslave people, is to give them the illusion of freedom. I grew up in a system like that. It's called the United States. Travel throughout the country is only possible as part of a guided tour. That's the way it's going to be everywhere in the world. Independent travel is not permitted. You must not leave your hotel without a guide, all right? Worldwide rule, immediately effective, all right? You will not be allowed to travel on public transport system at all, all right? You get that? Writing this down, taking notes. Both you and your guide will be punished if you infringe the rules. If you're not prepared to accept severe limitations on your movements and behavior, you should not leave your house. All right, this is tourism in North Korea, but it also applies to the town you live in. Before you go anywhere, you might want to read this so you know what to expect on your next family vacation. UN divides the world into 10 regional groupings, Agenda 21, all this stuff, right? Australia and North Korea. Oh no, what's this called? New Zealand. New Zealand. So look at that. These two countries will have a special trans-Tasman bubble. Government leaders of one country joining internal government meetings of the other country. You kind of get the point, right? Taking away the guns. Both countries have taken away the guns already, right? Long time ago in Australia. Recently, certain types of guns, blah, blah, blah. But basically the population there cannot form an effective militia. I mean, most of this is already kind of in place already. In fact, this is year zero, actually. We're in year zero right now of the slave new world. United Nations Agenda 21, and of course they have these Sustainable Development Goal, helping governments and stakeholders make the Sustainable Development Goals a reality. And it's all related to Mother Earth worship. I have another video on that I'm trying to edit and put out. Ecosystems, right? This environmentalism is all about Mother Earth goddess. Oh, look at it's the Stargate again. You see this everywhere. It's like an eye, and it could be a top-down view of the Earth as well. Stargate. They believe the Earth is a living organism / deity called Gaia, Mother Earth, or Rhea. There's many different names. All right, Earth is a living being. Anyway, this is their religion. They're cleansing the Earth. And in fact, Mother's Day, right? It was Mother's Day recently, so it's like, well, there's Mother's Day. Mother's Day was based on Mother Earth, Mother Goddess worship. Okay, so Mother's Day is another one of these pagan holidays. Now, this is interesting. Sustainable Development Goals are the world's best plan to build a better world. So that's code word for Mother Earth Goddess by 2030. Now, I'm not sure why this gender equality, look at it, it's like number one, it's the largest thing. Why is this so large? This is the knowledge platform of the Sustainable Development Goals, all right? And it's all about cleansing Gaia, right? Imagine a world where anything is possible. They got these pins that everyone had to wear. The T, it's the T virus. Tomorrowland, New World, Artificial Intelligence. Remember the future, because we got a model for the future. The Tasman in Tomorrowland. Coming soon to the Slave New World.